Captain Dobbin, having retired from the South Seas in the dumb tides of, with a handful of shells, a few poisoned arrows, a cask of pearls, and £5,000 in the colonial funds, now sails the street in a brick villa, laburnum villa, in whose blank windows the harbour hangs like a fog against the glass, golden and smoky, or stoned with a white glitter, and boats go by, suspended in the pane, blue funnel, red funnel, messageries maritimes, lugged down the port like sea beasts taken alive that scrape their bellies on sharp sands, of which particulars Captain Dobbin keeps a ledger sticky with ink, entries of time and weather, state of the moon, nature of cargo and captain's name, for some mysterious and awful purpose never divulged, for at night, when the stars mock themselves with lanterns, so late the chimes blow loud and faint like a hand shutting and unshutting over the bells, Captain Dobbin, having observed from bed the lights, like a great fiery snake, of the Cormoran going to sea, will note the hour for subsequent recording in his gazette. But the sea is really closer to him than this, closer to him than a dead, lovely woman, for he keeps bits of it, like old letters, salt tied up in bundles or pressed flat, what you might call a lock of the sea's hair, so Captain Dobbin keeps his dwarfed memento, his urn burial, a chest of mummied waves, gales fixed in print, and the sweet dangerous countries of shark and casuarina tree, stolen and put in coloured maps, like a flask of seawater, or a bottled ship, a schooner caught in a glass bottle, but Captain Dobbin keeps them in books, crags of varnished leather pimply with gilt, by learned mariners and masters of hydrostatics, or the childish tales of simple heroes, taken by Turks or dropsy. So nightly he sails from shelf to shelf or to the quadrants, dangling with rusty screws, or the hanging gardens of old charts, so old they bear the authentic protractor lines, traced in faint ink, as fine as Chinese hairs. Over the flat and painted atlas leaves his reading glass would tremble, over the fathoms, pricked in tiny rows, water shelving to the coast. Quietly the bone-rimmed lens would float till, through the glass, he felt the barbed rush of bubbles foaming, spied the albicores, the blue-fined admirals, heard the wind-swallowed cries of planters running on the beach who filched their swags of yams and ambergris, birds' nests and sandalwood, from pastures numbed by the sun's yellow, too meek for honest theft. But he, less delicate robber, climbed the walls, broke into dozing houses crammed with black bottles, marish wine crusty and salt corroded, fading prints, sparkle-daubed almanacs and playing cards, with rusty cannon, left by the French outside, half buried in sand, even to the castle of Queen Pommery in the Yankees' footsteps, and found her throne-room piled with golden candelabras, mildewed swords, guitars and fowling pieces, tossed in heaps with greasy cakes and flung down calabashes. Then Captain Dobbin's eye, that eye of wild and wispy scudding blue, voluptuously prying, would light up like mica scratched by gully suns, and he would be fearful to look upon in shattering in his conversation. Nor would he tolerate the harmless shanty, no Shenandoah, or the dainty mew that landsmen offer in a silver dish to Neptune, sung to pianos in candlelight. Of these he spoke in scorn, for there was but one way of singing storm along, he said, and that was not really singing, but howling, rather shrieked in the wind's jaws by furious men, not tinkled in drawing-rooms by lapdogs in clean shirts. And, at these words, the galleries of photographs, men with rich beards, pea-jackets and brass buttons, with folded arms, would scowl approval, for they were shipmates, too, companions of no cruise by reading glass, but fellows of storm and honey from the past, the Charlotte, Java, Commonacle and Fred at Port-au-Prince, William in his new rig, even that notorious scoundrel, Captain Baggs, who, as all knew, owed Dobbin £20 lost at fair cribbage. But he never paid, or paid with the slack of the topsail sheets as Captain Dobbin frequently expressed it. There were their faces, grilled a trifle now, cigar-hued in various spots by the brown breath of sodium-eating years, on quarter-decks long burnt to the water's edge, a resurrection of the dead by chemicals. And the voyages they had made, their labors in a country of water, were they not marked by inadequate lines on charts tied up like skins in a rack? Or his own Odysseys, his lonely travels, his trading days, an autobiography of angles and triangles and lozenges ruled tack by tack across the sheet, that with a single scratch expressed the stars, Merak and Almach and Alpherat, the wind, the moon, the sun, the clambering sea, sails bleached with light, salt in the eyes, bamboos and Tahiti oranges, from some forgotten countless day, one found a day from a forgotten month, a year sucked quietly from the blood, dead with the rest, remembered by no more than a scratch on a dry chart, or when the return grew too choking bitter-sweet and laburnum berries manifestly tossed beyond the window, not the fabulous leaves of hot or canutary or palmetto. There were the wanderings of other keels, Magellan, Bougainville, and Cook, who found no greater a memorial than footprints over a lithograph. For Cook he worshipped, that captain with the sad and fine white face, who never lost a man or flinched a peril, and of Bougainville he spoke with graceful courtesy, as a rival to whom the honors of the hunting field must be accorded. Not so with the Spaniard, Sebastian Juan del Cano, at whom he sneered openly, calling him a fool of fortune blown to a sailor's abbey by chance winds and blindfold currents, who slept in a fine cabin, blundered through 5 degrees of latitude, was bullied by mutineers 100 more, and woke and found himself across the world coldly in the window, like a fog rubbed up and down the glass. The harbour, bony with mist and ropes of water, glittered, and the blind tide that crawls it knows not where, nor for what gain, pushed its drowned shoulders against the wheel of the mill. Flowers rocked far down and white, dead bodies that were anchored there in marshes of spent light. Blue funnel, red funnel, the ships went over them, and bells in engine rooms cried to their bowels of flaring oil, and stokers groaned and sweated with burnt skins, clawed to their shovels, but quietly in his room, in his little cemetery of sweet essences with fond memorial stones and lines of grace, Captain Dobbin went on reading about the sea,